Okay, welcome to Escape the Rat Race Radio today, John. How are you?
Awesome. Another day in paradise.
Indeed. And where in the world are you right now, John?
I'm up in sunny St. Evanage. Well, maybe not quite so sunny, but
Yeah.
yeah, Stevenage in Hertfordshire.
Okay, fantastic. And John, it was only a couple of days ago that we were together. We were at Escape the Rat Race 37, our monthly meetup event, and we did things a little bit different this month. And I invited just a small group along to WeWork in Chancery Lane, where we hold our monthly events, and invited you along to really give our members that how should we say, real boost of confidence, and also that kind of gentle kick up the bum and say, you can really do this. Building a business is not easy, but if you stay super focused, it's absolutely worth it. And we had a really great night, didn't we?
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic night. The interesting thing for me was that we put out a very short video about literally 2 days before and said, listen, we've got 15 seats, we've got a couple spare, and I think we had 22. So love a hustler. A few people snuck in the door. Fantastic to see people on a school night get out and go mingle with some people that are ambitious and also on a mission to get out there and build a business that works.
That's right. And I've had fantastic feedback from so many people that were there on Wednesday. So I thought it'd be really good today on our conversation if we could not only find out a little bit about your background, John, and the experience you've had in business over the last 30 years or so, but also take a deep dive into some of the common themes that came up a few times on Wednesday night amongst members, and those things being, how to overcome mindset and dealing with distraction and things that you've come up against so many times and helped many, many hundreds of aspiring entrepreneurs and business owners, work through in the past. So how does that sound to you?
Now that sounds awesome. I think the thing that really struck me is we had a conversation. As you know, I'm fairly abstract. I never really go into a presentation with a format in my head. I like to just see what's the energy in the room, kind of where are people coming from, what do they really want to know. And I think the thing that really struck me was that pretty much everybody in the room are ambitious. Everybody really wants to build a business of some description that gets them out of that rat race. The thing that seems to be holding back a lot of them is confidence, and confidence around self-awareness. And probably in about 4 or 5 of the different questions that we had with different people was around, well, what should I do, and how should I take this, and how should I do that? And for me, that's an instantaneous picture of the fact that they haven't worked out what winning is to them. And I had a couple of guys that said, I'm kind of doing this property thing, but it's not really what I'm into. And I said, well, what are you into? And, I don't really know. Start there. You have to look in the mirror and see who's the character that's staring back. What do you really, really want to do? See, because then there was other guys in there that said, I'd really love to do property, for example, but I just don't know where to start. Well, start by gravitating to people that can show you exactly how to get that first step of the ladder, just to get on that, to get off and running. I think if you're to achieve your true potential in anything, business, sport, whatever that may be, you've really got to kind of look at where the winning post is. How will you know when you've achieved that thing that you're searching to get towards? I think if you're just starting out to run a business to make money, that's always going to be a challenge. You need to start with a passion. You need to start with what it is that you really want to have in your life. I mean, there was a famous British philosopher called Alan Watts, and I really encourage anybody to just hop onto YouTube, pump in Alan Watts, and just listen to some of the stuff that he puts out. Essentially, it's around self-awareness and finding out who you really are and what it is that you really want. That's the starting block.
Yeah, and I know that when we first met, John, a couple of years ago now, that was really one of the key phrases that stuck in my head that you said, what is winning to you? It's about just really taking, a stock of where you are right now. What's not great in your life right now? Everyone comes to the meetups every month and, they're striving for something. But when, as you say, you actually press them and say, what is it? What is it that you really want? What does that look like? then people kind of have this kind of stumped look on their face. And that, you know, if you don't know that, then it's going to be difficult to know when you've reached it, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I asked just about everybody that I talk to, tell me what's winning to you? And kind of the default answer is, and there's a lockup of the brain where they're working out, well, what do you mean by winning? And okay, maybe that's a bit of an abstract way of putting it, but what will your perfect life actually look like? And I have to start framing it in different ways. And the kind of the thing that really comes to the fore is that the limiting beliefs start coming out. Well, do you know what I'd really like to do? I'd like to do something with horses, or I'd really like to do, you know, painting or design or photography, or, you know, 1,001 different things. We'll do that then. Because I think that if you were to go all in on learning, whatever it is that you've got a passion for, if that's what you want to do, you will become an expert at it. And if you become an expert at it, somebody is going to give you money. It's just how it works. So it's starting at that point and then putting a business plan together to say, well, okay, cool. If I want to do X, then I'm going to have to learn, and you've got the first milestones. And it's starting to reverse engineer where it is that you really want to go to. I mean, that's what you did, Chris, wasn't it? You was kind of going from a really, really sexy career. I mean, the music business, it's sexy, isn't it? Everybody wants to get into the music business that has a passion for music. But of course, once you get into it and you get over that honeymoon period, it kind of becomes a bit of a job for some people, which it did for you. And I know when we started talking, you were saying to me, do you know, I just need to get out of that treadmill. You know, I'm going to really exciting places. I'm playing music. I'm doing this, that, and the other. But you just wanted something more, didn't you?
That's right.
And would it be fair to say, even with your good self, Chris, it probably took you the best part of a year to find yourself, to find out what really floated your boat?
Absolutely. And I've shared many times before, the decision that I made when I left my job was to go into property. My plan was 100%. This is the path, the asset class that I want to focus on. And at the end of that first 12 months, I realized that my passion was not really in property. But I only realized that by taking that first step and actually doing something about it, actually trying it. And whilst that wasn't the path that I could see taking me to you know, the long term, the connections that I made, the experience I got, some of the failures along the way, which helped me really build my character, that was the important part. And it's been said by so many of previous guests on the radio show, it's not the destination, it's the journey.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Funny enough, I was just playing around with putting a couple of little posts and quotes out. And I just wrote one and posted one on Instagram. And that was, in business, every day is a challenge. The trick is enjoying working out how to overcome the challenge, anything that's fired at you. And that's the way it is for entrepreneurs. You absolutely will come across challenges on a daily basis. Funny enough, we ran a workshop yesterday on the 100K peer group that we one of the 100K peer groups we run down in London. And there's a guy that had been 28 years with NatWest, and he's 2 years out of NatWest, took his redundancy package, and he said he had no idea how business worked until he started up in business, and it's been a massive learning curve. He was a business manager for the last 15 years.
Wow.
But that's okay, that's cool. I mean, even a seasoned guy like that, he said, what a lot of business managers, for example, don't realize is the challenges of learning sales, learning how to market, learning how to put a value proposition that is compelling for people.
That's right. And you can read all the business books in the world, and you won't truly get the feeling until you're out there and you're doing it and you're experiencing it. And
without a shadow of a doubt, I think that if only you and I could get to people before they start investing lots of money in the wrong things, and sit down with them and just spend, you know, a little bit of time working out what they really, really want to achieve, we could shortcut that journey massively, shortcut the school of hard knocks, shortcut the amount of monies that they pour into things that aren't really going to take them in the right direction early on. And I think that's why I've gravitated to helping your good self out with Escape the Rat Race over the last 2 years. I mean, some of the characters that we've met in Escape the Rat Race, people like Oliver, who has a real passion for, gadgets and digital marketing and all those sorts of things, been in the education system for the best part of her career and wanted to morph that into a business. And we've just seen her grow and get more and more focused over that last couple of years. But it still took her a couple of years to get to the point where she is now, where she's really launched her business with, enthusiasm, and she's on a bit of a mission. She's now got her first couple of customers. And I think a lot of that was down to some of the learnings that she has kind of built with your good self and me over that period, and really steering her to get that business up and running. And then another guy that we met was Steph, the guy that's built he's a designer that's created a cup that really should have been at market about a year ago. But he's getting there. It takes as long as it does to get the confidence to be able to push forward in the right way. And it was a real pleasure to meet up with him again on Wednesday night and see, he's now got a design he's piecing together for a chair. And, he's on that journey. He's starting to push forward. And I mean, that's just two of, dozens of characters. Take Ian Luckett, for example. What was he, Chris? Probably 20 odd years in the corporate environment.
Absolutely. Yeah. At a high level in the corporate world.
Unfortunately, he joined the ETR program fairly early on in his journey, and just looking at some of the stuff that he's put out on social media, he's got his first speaking gig at Hearts Business Expo, I think this coming Monday. And the morphing of what his original idea is to where he is now, he's just 50 degrees out on where he originally set out to be.
Yeah, no, and I can't wait to have all three of them on the Escapees episode of Escape the Rat Race Radio very soon with their success stories.
Cool.
So John, let's rewind things a little bit. For those people listening right now, and so many of our members, of course, already know you and have worked with you at one of the workshops or programs that we've run over the last couple of years together. But for anyone listening who's new to John Kettley, would you mind giving us a little bit of a background on yourself? And I normally ask, was there a time when you were stuck in the rat race? But I know the answer for you. But why don't you let us know?
Yeah, I guess many of the guys have probably heard me say this, but I'm terminally unemployable and was from a very young age. So really, the only opportunity open to me was self-employment, what they now call entrepreneurialism. And it's not always been a good ride. I've crashed and burned along the way. That's just part of the learning process. I think any successful entrepreneurs, anybody certainly that's got to a level of success, will tell you that they are a prolific failure. It's just that they've got used to failing. It's not a drama. You learn from the failures. And of course, the biggest thing that holds people back from starting a business is their risk aversion, their fear of failure. Get over that, my friends. Certainly over the last 35 years, I've started, built and sold enough businesses to be able to say to you that your failures have a ratio. They're probably 2 to 1. You've got kind of 2 failures to every win. But every time you fail, it's a learning, and you take a learning from that. And it's the difference between those that go on to achieve massive success is there are characters that fail and focus on that, and they're just fixated on that rearview mirror. And then there are the other characters saying, "Nah, do you know what? If that ever happened again, what I'd do is," and they've worked out what they would do in retrospect. So they're just more talented going forward. So in my 35 years, we started a mountain bike shop, sold that. We've had CCTV access control companies, restaurants, vinyl siding, stuff that we sell into the helicopter industry, the mining industry. Everything from products that go into the power industry to, the guy that's setting up his cheese stall. Such a cross section, I can't tell you. And I think the thing that I've learned over the years, whenever anybody is telling me about a business, I immediately look to, okay, where's the money? How are you going to sell that? Who's going to buy that? And for 35 years worth of kind of my background, I've kind of developed a talent, if you like, for knowing where the money is. And for being able to say, well, okay, what's the fastest route to market? How can we get that thing to market? So it's a bit of an abstract description of what I've done over the last 35 years, but it kind of gives you a picture that I don't really see the world as most people do. It's not very black and white. It's not always logic. I think that you have to have somewhat of an abstract, funky way of looking at the world if you're going to live your life on purpose, comfortable in your skin, and achieve the success that you want.
Yeah, and you obviously showed me, and I've now learned the perfect business model, and it's a model that really applies to any business. There's key things that when you're starting out, when you have an idea about something that you think, okay, this could work, there's a very set procedure of things that need to be done in the right order. And that starts with, as we said, getting clear on what's winning to you. What are some of those other steps that people should start thinking about, John, at an early stage when they've got an idea in their head, but they haven't necessarily fully validated that yet, and they maybe haven't yet actually earned any money from that idea?
Okay, first things first, it's proof of concept. You meet a ton of people with a ton of ideas about, oh, I'd like to create a widget or a this or a that or the other, a software. I mean, the software guys, Jesus, I think I have met just about every coder with every funky idea that you can over the years. And the thing that most people do not do is their due diligence in finding out exactly what is already on offer. Why are people buying it? What are they doing well? What are they not doing well? Excuse me. And then really designing their business to serve a niche that's not really being served at the moment. Excuse me. And that, for me, I think is the thing that that most people need to do first is self-awareness. What do you want to achieve? Number two, why do you think people will buy it? Whatever it is that you're going to sell. So it's the proof of concept part, working out what your so-called competitors are. If you can't find competitors, okay, then it's testing the market. 3, get a mentor, get an outside influence that you can bounce your business model off. 4 rather, is business model. Most people just don't like putting a business plan together. Now, a business plan can be one page. It really just identifies what is it that we're selling, who are we selling it to, why will they be interested, what's their dominant buying motive, what's the reason that they will be compelled to want to go and give you money for whatever it is that you want to sell. So there's very distinct steps. They blur when you get into the reality of bringing something to market. But as I say, I'm going to cover this one more time because it's so important. Self-awareness. What do you want to achieve? Reverse engineer that. 2, proof of concept. Finding out, will it sell? Will people actually put their money, their hand in their pocket and pull out their money? And then test bedding it. Getting all of the raw feedback from people saying, do you know, I don't know, maybe if I come at it from this angle, I might come at it from that angle. And then bizarrely, in contradiction to that, is not caring about all the haters, all the people, all the negrotroids that are out there. It's just looking at the positives and saying, well, okay, if you wouldn't buy it, what would I do to make you buy it? How can I frame this so that it would be super attractive? And again, it's market research. And then finding out how much would they actually put their hand in their pocket for? Because you will come across people who say, yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Okay, would you buy it? What would you pay for it? That's really the building blocks for a business that works. So I'll frame it in a third and different way. 1 is work out what you want. 2 is work out what the value proposition is. The value proposition, what people will buy into. Once you've got that, create a brand that absolutely encompasses that value proposition. Only when you've got the brand so that it is really tight, really on purpose, can you start marketing. Too many people start marketing before they've worked out the brand and the core offering. When you've put out your marketing, now you've got to get into something called selling. And I think it was quite interesting that this came up in conversation on Wednesday night, didn't it?
He did.
People here who want to learn how to sell, how to be really good at selling. What did we get? No hands. And then we reframed it and we said to them, would you like to learn how to be able to communicate what it is that you've got, what it is that you're offering in such a compelling way that people just want to rush towards you and give you money? And then every hand in the room went up. It's just, don't be afraid of learning how to sell. It's the art of communication. What could you not achieve if you were a great communicator? Truth is, there's nothing you wouldn't achieve if you weren't a great communicator.
John, another thing that came up on Wednesday night was just the importance of having a network around you. And we obviously had a large number of our inner circle members there on Wednesday, and you can already see the bond amongst them, not only friendships, but business ideas that they're sharing, and the support and accountability, which is so important when you're starting out. And I know that you run some peer groups as well, part of the 100 KPA. Would you mind just sharing a little bit about, that importance of having the peer group around you, and why you would advise that to people who are at the early stages?
Yeah, absolutely. There's an old truism that you are who you associate with, and that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with. So I think the thing for a lot of people is, if they're not hanging out with people that are also ambitious to start their own business, you're going to have to find a group of people to hang out with at least once a month. And that was kind of my learning over the last 10 years of training through the Sales Masters Guild, which is the live seminars that we've been delivering to business owners to help them to build a business that works. Well, initially we'd started out with one-day workshops. So how to sell, how to network, how to form a value proposition, etc., etc. But what I quickly discovered was that people are habitual. They tend to go back to their old ways, and they tend to have the same thought patterns. So this is where we started piecing together the peer groups. So peer group mentoring, without a shadow of a doubt, is the fastest way to achieve a solid positive mindset, by meeting people on a monthly basis wherein everybody's on that same train. They're all moving forward. They're sharing the challenges, they're sharing the wins. And that's what we've been doing at the Sales Masters Guild now for probably about 6-7 years. Now, as some of your listeners will also know, I wrote a book really that encompassed the whole of the entrepreneur's formula, called How to Build a Business That Creates Wealth. And from that, we built a website to form a community for people that want to take that kind of onto the next level. So this is something that you and I have been working with at Escape the Rat Race with the monthly meetups. It's a peer group of like-minded people that are on a mission to achieve their true potential in business. And I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to make sure that you go every single month in, month out. Put you at the center stage of building your business. And at least for the first 12 months, make sure that you push everything out, regardless of what that may be, and just jump onto a peer group. Like-minded people on a mission, going to the same place you are. Success in business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if anyone listening is interested in finding out a bit more about the Escape the Rat Race Inner Circle, then you can absolutely go along to the website and go to etrr.online/inner circle, find out about all of the events that you get as a member benefit, our monthly Q&A calls, and definitely come along and be part of that fantastic group that we've got there. And John, we're rapidly hitting time here. It always goes so quickly. I knew it would, but I'd like to squeeze in before we finish. Just one of your, I'd say, specialist areas is the mindset and the mind behind success, which you often refer to as well. And it's self-belief, isn't it? And how can you increase your own self-belief? Are there any methods or strategies other than obviously just surrounding yourself by positive, focused people every month? Have you got any tips for anyone who maybe just doesn't have that self-belief yet in themselves that they can actually break away from their job and build a business that creates wealth?
Sure. If you're the kind of person that maybe suffers with depression, maybe suffers with a habit of steering towards negative beliefs, I've got a couple of tips that have helped me over the years, because I'm no different to anyone else out there. I've got my own limiting beliefs, and the way that I overcome them is every single day when I wake up in the morning, I go through the same sequence of gratitude. I wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do is take a massive big breath and say, I'm breathing again. I've just woken up. It's another day in paradise. I am so unbelievably grateful for everything that I've got in my world. I'm fit, I'm healthy, I've got fabulous friends, I've got a fantastic family, I've got a great roof over my head, I've got all the things around me to create an awesome lifestyle. And every day in every way, I'm getting stronger and more abundant. Every day in every way, I'm becoming stronger and more abundant. Every day in every way, I'm becoming stronger and more abundant. And that mantra, when you wake up, is the start of every single day. And then as I walk out to brush my teeth and have a wash, on the wall there is a poster. And on that poster is all the images of the things that I have in my life, the cars, the motorcycles, the friends, the family. It's my vision board. It's my paradise. Every day I wake up in paradise because I've got all those things around me. Now, even if it's not absolutely paradise, just put the things on the board for that perfect life that you want. It's reverse engineering the life that you want. It's affirmations. It's just my method. There's a ton of different people that will share that with you in a ton of different ways. But it starts your day. And then get in the habit of listening to podcasts with positive people, looking at YouTubes and just let it run in the background with positive people, those inspirational stuff that take you on a journey. Most of all, when you get to the back end of a day, just as you're kind of winding down, you put your head on the pillow and you've turned out the light, and then just run another small sequence. And that sequence is, what did I learn today? What did I learn that's making me stronger? Okay, I had this challenge, I had that challenge. Okay, if I had that challenge again tomorrow, how would I overcome it? You see, it's a positive. How would I overcome that better? How would I overcome that faster? And it's starting to create a mindset where everything is positive. It's positive, positive, positive. And that's my little 2 pennyworth on the cultivating the positive mind.
No, that's great. Thank you very much for sharing that, John. And it's like exercising a muscle, isn't it? You can't expect to go, get massive biceps if you don't consistently work out. And it's similar with the mind, isn't it? It's that constant positive affirmation that will build a stronger mindset, a more powerful mindset over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. John, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today. And I'm sure our listeners would have got a whole lot out of this conversation. The final question, which I always ask my guests, is for those listeners right now, they might be sat in that traffic jam on the way to work, or they're squashed up on the underground, waiting for the train on a busy platform, and they're just not enjoying the daily grind, the office hours, and they know there's something bigger, more within them, but something's holding them back, and most likely it's fear. What would be your last piece of advice for someone in that position right now?
In that position, I'm going to say to you 2 things. 1, make a decision. Make a decision that you're better than this. Make a decision that you've had enough of this. Make a decision that you will not live your life one more day thinking the thoughts that you think. 2, you're going to start being more abundant. You're going to start thinking in a fresher way. You're going to connect with people that are on a mission as well. And you're going to create a different set of friends, business friends, that are going to take you to a different place. This is your last day of ever thinking those thoughts again.
Wow, powerful stuff there, John. So we're going to be obviously doing a lot more together throughout the rest of 2018. We'll be running some workshops. You'll be hopping in on some of the Inner Circle masterclasses online. And if people want to do connect with you, John, where's the best place for them to find out a bit more about you online?
Best place to see me is at johnfkettley.com. That'll give you a landing page for all the different things that I do. You'll see a link that takes you to all the home study stuff that we do on how to build a business that creates wealth, and the live seminars that we do through the Sales Masters Guild, and the underpins that we do with your good self, Chris, for Escape the Rat Race. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you once again, John. It's been real good speaking to you today. And I look forward to seeing you again really soon.
Will do.
Thanks, John.
Talk to you soon.